Philadelphia Eagles general manager Howie Roseman has done it again. We're talking about that on today's Philadelphia Eagles Now. My name is Chase Sr. Thank you so much for joining us. Before we do that and talk about all of that, I need your help. I promised my bosses that in the month of June, Philadelphia Eagles Now will pick up more subscribers than we did in May. You see the figures here to my right. In the month of May, 1,132 new real ones. Hit that sub button to join the movement here on the channel. Since the beginning of the football season last year, no other channel at Chat Sports has picked up more new subscribers, as the channel growth really has been insane. But we can't stop there, ladies and gentlemen. In the month of June, that is the number that we need to beat. And if we get off to a good start with this video, we can get to 121,000 subscribers. I believe in you. I appreciate your support. And if I didn't convince you now, by the end of the show, I will. And it starts right now. All right, let's get it. Hope everybody out there is having a fantastic week. My name is Chase Sr., and again, you're watching Philadelphia Eagles Now. And the topic at hand is that Howie Roseman has worked his magic with this organization once again, and Eagles fans should be absolutely fired up for what this team accomplished in 2024, what they're capable of doing in 2025, but all good businesses, whether it be in corporate life or in sports, are always looking ahead and planning for the future. That's exactly what Howie and owner Jeffrey Lurie are doing with this ball club right now. And let's begin with this. With that Bryce Huff trade now being official, we know what the Eagles are getting back after trading away Huff from Philadelphia all the way across the country to Northern California to San Francisco. The Niners get Huff. The Eagles receive a 5th-round pick, which could become a 4th. So a conditional selection there. In the process, the Eagles saving $2.4 million in cap space, and they save nearly $8 million in cash. And in the process, of course, they opened up a roster spot. And why I'm fine with this Bryce Huff trade for the Eagles and why I like it, the Eagles and Howie admitted a failure. Philadelphia gave him $34 million in guaranteed money. And sometimes teams, coaches, GMs, organizations, they will try to cover up for a mistake, or they will try to prove to everybody that what they did with that decision was the right decision. Ego can get in the way, but ego can also get in the way of you winning and winning championships. Howie said, you know what? Our roster is in a good spot. Bryce Huff doesn't have a role on this team. I made a mistake in giving him all that money. He wasn't a scheme fit. It didn't work out. Let's move off of the player, and good on Howie for doing that. But Bryce Huff deserved a fresh start elsewhere if he wasn't going to have a role on this team at his age with the ability that he has. Howie Roseman also worked his magic with this because the dead cap money and trading him away, it doesn't really handicap Philadelphia from a cap standpoint at all, because the Eagles restructured his contract going into 2025. So by trading him away, you free up cap, you free up some cash, you admit that Huff just wasn't a scheme fit. Vic Fangio said as much. And in free agency, well before, months before the Eagles moved off of Huff, they addressed this position by signing Azeez Ojulari, signing Josh Uche. In the draft, they took Antoine Powell-Ryland, one of the most productive defensive ends in college football the last couple of years. And the Eagles also looked in-house. And they said to themselves, we really like Nolan Smith. We really like Jalix Hunt. And those two players can become studs. And with Huff going to the Niners, he gets to reunite with Robert Saleh. And under Saleh's tutelage, he really developed into a very good player and pass rusher. In 2021, 9 games played, only had 2 sacks, 8 quarterback hits, and 17 pressures. And then in 2022, the Jets were looking at Huff and saying, okay, he has some juice to his game. 3.5 sacks, 10 quarterback hits, and 36 pressures. And then in 2023, his career year, 10 sacks, 21 quarterback hits, and 67 pressures. The Eagles saw that, and they said, okay, he's playing in a 4-3, he's playing in a wide 9, but we have one of the best defensive minds in football on our side, coaching that side of the ball. In Vic Fangio, he's going to be able to bring the best out of Huff, and that ascent will continue. It did continue. And right from the jump, Fangio never trusted Huff. He wasn't running with the ones during training camp. He was playing deep into preseason games. And then to start the year, his play was choppy. Then he got hurt. And at the end of the year, he was out of the rotation and a healthy scratch in the Super Bowl. The Eagles only got 2.5 sacks, 13 tackles, 3 TFLs, and 1 forced fumble out of Bryce Huff. In 2023, though, you look at how he performed under Robert Saleh, 79.7 overall PFF grade, 33rd among 197 edge rushers. His pass rush grade was 86.8. That was 11th. Never been a great run defender, but with the Eagles, he did improve there. He had those 10 sacks and those 67 pressures while playing less than 50% of the snaps. And so I do think Huff is going to be able to have success with the Niners. And for the Niners, they needed a pass rusher. They needed depth there. They needed a pass rush specialist. And Bryce Huff is going to be able to check all of those boxes and fulfill those roles. Now, Vic Fangio did talk about the Eagles trading Huff. And he said he thinks he'll play well for San Francisco. He referenced how the broken hand and Huff basically only being able to play with one arm impacted his play, being the speed rusher that he is. Fangio also really likes the young guns, Jalen Hunt, Nolan Smith, and he said that Huff wasn't a scheme fit. And in this 3-4, outside linebackers under Vic Fangio, they're stand-up pass rushers. And during the year, we were talking about this, how Huff didn't look comfortable as a stand-up pass rusher. He is at his best in a 4-3 when he can get in that three-point stance, 2 feet down, one hand down, and that allows him to get off to that Bugatti, Ferrari-like start. That's what's helped him be a really good pressurer of the quarterback, right? Highest QB pressure rate since 2022. Micah Parsons, number 1 at 20. Bryce Huff, number 2 at 19.9. And I think he's going to perform well for the Niners. You should be rooting for that because if he plays well and he plays a lot, that 5th becomes a 4th-round pick. Which brings me into this. In this business, that's what you call a masterful segue. Howie Roseman has loaded up on a plethora, a bevy, a handful of picks for the 2026 NFL Draft, which will be happening across the state from Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, an underrated state across America, in my opinion, especially when it starts to get warm. And Howie loading up on these picks for 2026 after he picked 10 players in the 2025 draft class after entering the draft with only 8 picks. And that really sets us up for what we're going to talk about for the rest of the show. So don't you dare go anywhere. In the meantime, I do want to tell you about this great deal. Thanks to our friends at Fanatics. These Super Bowl shirts are the same shirts that Eagles players were wearing after they annihilated the Kansas City Chiefs in New Orleans in February in Super Bowl 59. They are 50% off right now. You can save money, celebrate the Eagles winning that Super Bowl, and look good. Also, these shirts are timeless. You can have them forever, and they're Nike. Limited time only does this deal last for. So use that link down below, chatsports.com/SB shirt. You plug in that link, it takes you to Fanatics. Fanatics knows that Chase Senior, Eagles Now, and Chat Sports sent you, and it's a great way for you to support the program here. The pluses of building through the NFL draft. You draft players who are young, athletic, not as injury prone, don't have as much tread on the tires, and those players are affordable, and they become cost-controlled assets for 4 to 5 years, the duration of their rookie contracts. You also get to get younger, tap into your youth, and replenish the cupboard of your talent. These rookie deals financially also pale in comparison with what you're paying them for 4 to 5 years when you compare that to what players are getting in NFL free agency. The NFL salary cap is going up like crazy. It's only going to continue to increase with a new television deal looming down the road. And given the popularity of the NFL continuing to skyrocket. And we've seen that, with first-round picks, they can get around $40 million in guaranteed money. But then, When you are signing players in free agency, they're making sometimes $20, $30, $40 million per year. And when you hit on your draft picks, they can become starters, but depth pieces are really important for a football club, and all of this allows you to become a sustainable winner, which the Eagles have been since the turn of the century in 2000. And look at what Howie has done with this 2026 draft. The Eagles will have their own first-round pick, their own second-round pick. They have a third from the New York Jets. They have their own third. They have a third-round projected compensatory pick due to Milton Williams signing and getting that bag from the New England Patriots. The Eagles also have their own fourth-round pick. They have a projected comp pick in the fourth as well for Josh Sweat signing with the Cardinals. So you look at that right there. That is 7 picks inside the first 4 rounds for the Eagles in 2026. They get a fifth from the Niners, which can elevate to a fourth based on Bryce Huff's playing time with San Francisco. That could be 8 picks in the first 4 rounds for Philadelphia in this draft in Pittsburgh. The Eagles also, as we flip the page, have a fifth from Atlanta, a fifth from Houston, their own fifth, a compensatory pick possibly in the fifth for Mekhi Becton signing with the Chargers, and then they round out with their own 7th-round pick. This gives the Eagles a lot of options, as I like to say in the great words of Sam Hinkie, optionality. It gives the Eagles flexibility. It gives them the ability to continue to build their team with young, cost-controlled assets. It also gives the Eagles ammunition if they want to use those picks for trades for a player or to move up in the NFL draft. It also gives Philadelphia room for error. Howie Roseman can take some swings on boomer bust prospects. If the Eagles miss on some picks, that's okay because they could have 13 of them in 2026 in April. Howie and Jeffrey Lurie always looking into the future because they know that the present is important, but sports and in sports things can change overnight and drastically so quick, and you better be prepared for what the future holds. Injuries, roster changes, players getting old overnight, all of those factors. So Howie, he has indeed done it again. And if you think that Howie is the best general manager in the National Football League, type Howie down in the comments section. Thank you so much for watching. Get your Eagles Super Bowl shirts. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll catch you soon.